begin by clearly stating their name for the record. We usually make our decisions fairly quickly. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting, and it's the responsibility of the applicant to comply with regulations of other town boards and departments, including building, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. Applicants can pick up their approved paperwork at the Old Kings Highway office once it's been recorded with the Yarmouth Town Clerk. Please allow until Wednesday afternoon for that process to be completed. Also, you should know there is a 10 calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by our decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway. Our office administrator will be happy to answer questions that you may have in regard to that process. So we thank you in advance for your cooperation. We'll begin with the first item, which is concerned with putting up a metal chimney for a wood stove at 25 Ryan Road.
Come and sit.
And Ann
Belcito?
Belcito
Yep.
and Janet Turner are the owners.
Yep.
And Sandwich Chimney Sweep is the agent. They're not here. So, included in the packet that we have are letters of support signed by 4 abutters. Ron Svan at 29 Ryan Road, Alwyn Dexter at 30 Ryan Road, and Irv Roaches at 21 Ryan Road. The fourth one is Ray Beasley at 22 Ryan Road.
Yeah, those are all, our 4 abutting neighbors. Yeah.
And,
It's a good time to get a new chimney installed.
Yeah, I know, we were just thinking of it this evening.
Wood stove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you swing a good axe?
We do okay. It's challenging. Keeps you fit.
So this is double walled, right?
It would go out the living room wall, like about, I don't
No,
know,
I mean a pipe.
The pipe.
the pipe.
They could- So your
Whatever,
guy,
whatever they need for the building code, we're doing everything that needs to be done.
yeah.
So,
It just doesn't specify. Well, the reason is, you have to have double wall and a certain amount of clearance from the wood, from any wood in the house. But normally, if you have a metal chimney like this, it's have it surrounded by wood, so, and it looks like a chimney until you get to the cap, rather than an exposed metal pipe.
Well, I've been looking around, and there are several of these even on Route 6A, which is the Old Kings Highway. We are people of modest means. We
Oh,
got
we
our
have a
home.
wood stove, yeah.
But I mean, to add on the expense of putting something around the chimney or even
understand.
putting it through the house, we're talking $500 to $1,000 more than
Yeah.
really what we have.
We're in human service, which means we have of humble means.
Medium
My
to
friend and
low
I, we're of humble means. The neighborhood itself is sort of a lower to middle income neighborhood, and we got there through housing assistance help. But I'm not sure I understood what you were asking correctly. Were you?
Well, a lot of the old ones you see around are single wall.
Single
They just have
wall.
one pipe, and there's no airspace in between them. But a double wall one,
Oh,
well, it's more expensive, but also it can be
Yeah.
can be closer to the wood, so
Oh.
it could be surrounded by
Oh,
something
yeah.
that looks like a chimney on the side of the house.
Yeah, the other aspect from a thermodynamic point of view is that usually the double wall ones are so that air comes into your unit through the outer wall, and it's warmed as it's coming in
Mhm.
because of the
Oh, yeah.
fluid going out the center.
yeah.
And that provides air for combustion, and it doesn't, you don't use up all the air in the house
hmm
and suck out all the heat.
Oh, yeah. That would
So
be
it's a much more efficient way of doing it
sure.
with the double wall.
I don't know if I've seen that on a wood stove, though.
I had it,
Have you seen it on a wood
Do you-
stove?
do you
On a
actually-
wood stove?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Specifications.
with
They're
the
just
glass
talking
doors,
about.
Talking,
so it was
talking
pretty well sealed.
They're just talking
building
about.
stuff. That's
yeah.
not, you know.
Yeah, they use them in gas
You know,
stoves regularly.
There's a
Did you
different-
get check out the price of wood?
I've already got the wood.
Oh, you do?
Before we
Good
knew
for
we
you.
had to come here,
'Cause
we
it's
were
like
all set to go, and a neighbor said, "Oh,
$450
did
a
you know?"
cord.
And so
Really expensive here in the Cape.
I got the wood all taken care of. I'm not worried about the wood.
Okay,
I'm worried about just getting approval here so we
Yeah.
can put the chimney up and get the stove going, because it's getting
mine's
cold.
burning right now, waiting for me.
Yeah, see, that's what we want.
And I get free firewood.
I've gotten some free, too.
Well, to answer that question, I'm honestly not sure what type of a pipe it is. I mean, we could find out
Oh,
for
it's-
you, but,
It's metal.
yeah, metal best, whatever that means. But I do know that as
I
you,
think it looks, from the size of it, it looks like the double wall, but
oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I know the gentleman that does the work is extremely highly regarded, so,
it is.
yeah. So you know, yeah.
I know, yeah. Know who
The
it is.
type is meant to just be as it is, without the wall
I
around it.
understand.
And he said if we had to do something else, we'd have a different type of chimney. I don't even know what that would, I don't know what that pipe would be. That's probably what you're talking about. The one with the wall and without the wall are different.
Okay.
Okay, we're going for just the pipe without the wall. You know.
It-
Okay.
Is this the point where we also get to share? I'm a little confused about the,
Process.
No, you can speak and say anything you want.
okay. No, I didn't know if,
No.
okay.
Yeah, to
Because,
explain.
yeah, I did have a kind of a primary point that I wanted to make. I had some preliminary talks with Beth Wazella, and on one occasion, I sent a couple pictures, and I believe you saw them, Mr.
Yep.
Can I call you Richard? Last name's a little challenging. And I understood at that time that, if I understood correctly, that your primary concern was about the visibility of the metal best pipe. And the point that I really wanted to make, there were a couple points about it, was that we live on Rhine Road, and you did get a chance to drive by and see the property?
Times.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, so you know, yeah. So, it's a little loop.
right.
And where the house that I share with my friend is it's as you're ascending the hill, and then there's actually a curve in the hill, and the house is right on that curve. So the wall where the pipe would be is literally sort of recessed into the curve. It's not visible, that side of the house is not visible at all when you ascend the hill. When you descend the hill, yes, you can see it somewhat. It's a strand of trees there, though. In the spring, I'm not certain you could see it at all. So it's probably visible to, honestly, about 10 people a day,
Yeah,
If that,
yeah.
if that.
Traffic area.
Yeah. And then if I were to make an emotional appeal, this is the wood-burning stove is kind of a dream, particularly for my friend Janet. It's something that she's just really wanted. She also has health issues. She has some sinus issues, which make the forced air heating that we have uncomfortable for her. She feels that she's going to be a lot more comfortable with the radiant heat. So that was another point. But also, just that the neighborhood is literally, a stone's throw, 2 stones throws from the highway. It's very close to the Mid-Cape. And
One thing I did notice, it's very well oriented for solar panels. You could
yeah,
put
we're not interested in solar panels.
No.
I know, we've been approached when you go to Home Depot.
Yeah, no, if you, they can be expensive if you're putting it in and owning it yourself. On the other hand, you can rent out your roof, basically,
Yeah,
and get kickbacks from the production of the electricity.
oh well,
And that's the way, I would say most of them that come before our committee are not being owned by the people. They put them up and they get money by renting their roof, basically, and the company owns the panels themselves, and you have the use of them. So your house just happens to be oriented very well.
yeah. We've
Okay,
thought
but
about that,
with-
and
all due respect, I don't understand what that would have to do with this discussion. With all due
It doesn't have
respect.
anything to do with it, except that it's an energy saver.
Oh, I see.
People that
Okay.
burn wood do so to conserve energy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
And
So that was, yeah,
have the localized heat, heats up the living room where you are most of the time.
yeah.
And at night, when you wander away from there to sleep in the cooler region, it works too.
Okay.
So it's an
Yeah.
aspect. But if, in terms of being energy conscious,
I see, yeah.
That
I'm
would
sorry,
be
I didn't
thought.
understand at first. Right.
And since I started out in building, by building solar houses, I kind of think that way.
Wow, yeah. You've got a lot of background with it.
So,
Yeah, so anyway.
I don't want to come across as a Grinch here, and I do appreciate everything you said. I've driven through the neighborhood. I know that these are modest houses. So, and it's an out-of-the-way location, which means we probably would not judge this proposal as stringently as we would on 6A. As an aside, I don't know what you're talking about as far as standing metal chimneys on 6A.
I could give you the addresses of some.
Yeah, I'd be very
I
much
got
appreciative.
I have a
of that.
picture right here if you'd like to see it. Actually, it
Show
was,
to me.
yeah, if I have my phone with me. Do I have my phone with me?
And anyway, even if they exist, the chances are that they predated the establishment of the act and of this committee.
When did
So
that
it
take
may not
place?
be, it may not be relevant.
There's one on West Yarmouth Road that went up without getting approval
There's some right on 6A. I've seen them up and down from Yarmouth to
15 years
Brewster.
ago.
It's 391.
Yep. I have no idea when this was constructed. I know I didn't vote
May I
for it,
see it?
so.
Sure.
It's 391?
Yeah, it was sent to us by the chimney folks, actually.
Did they put it up? You're
For
ratting
a
them
very
out.
short period of time.
Trying to squish it down, yeah, 391.
Excuse me, I can go look it up and see if they have it.
Sort of on the side of the house.
Oh. 391.
Whoa.
Sometimes if they're black, they're not very noticeable
I wonder if that
also.
heats
These
up.
aren't, the
But
ones
if-
I've seen aren't
If
black.
they're shiny stainless steel,
Yeah.
they stay that way for a
Oh.
long time.
Oh, they took our computer.
Okay.
I'll see if I can get it on my phone. These don't.
Yeah.
These files are available online, so we can go online on our website and look up this address and see if there's a permit on
I think I
file for it.
lost it.
Yeah.
But I don't have a computer to do it here, so
I'll give
I'm
you
gonna
this
try it
back.
on my phone.
Well,
I think we lost it.
Oh, okay, that's all right. Thanks.
So just on the subject of ones that exist on 6A, I made my point about there's every probability that they existed prior to the establishment of the act and of the establishment of this committee. Also, as a general rule, we do not regard precedent as prologue. In other words, we evaluate each case independently, regardless of what exists elsewhere.
Yeah,
And undoubtedly, there are things that exist elsewhere that this body would not approve. So this is a difficult one for me. I'll be very candid about it. I'm appreciative of your situation financially. I'm appreciative of the modest nature of the neighborhood. I'm appreciative of the fact that it's motivated in part by energy saving, and we certainly support energy saving that's consistent with the act and the principles on which this body stand. But I'm frankly not in love with it from an aesthetic point of view, and aesthetics are our primary mission.
Even in a neighborhood that was built in 1990, that's a stone's throw from the highway?
It is in the historic district as defined by the act.
When was
We
the
can
act?
debate 1973.
73.
Yeah, I don't think I want to get into a debate, but I wish you could see it from my point of view.
I
I'm sure
do
you've heard this a
actually-
lot.
I do actually see it from your point of
Yeah.
view.
Not a,
Somewhere else in the house that it could be located,
could
so it
you
would
put
be
it-
behind
No.
the house?
no, it's got to be there. That's the living room.
Kitchen sink.
Yeah, it's
in
a
the
small
bathroom,
house.
in the toilet.
Nobody is going to see this honking
The place.
chimney.
No interior.
Maybe 10 people a day when it's not, when the trees aren't in bloom. Okay, sorry. It's like an exercise in absurdity.
How would not letting us have this chimney accomplish the purpose of this committee?
Well put.
Well, for one thing, I think the letters from the abutters are important too, because they would be looking at it all the time, and they seem to be for it.
So I think everyone's in favor of what you're doing, but just not in the manner you're doing it. That's the problem. If you know,
I
I have
understand.
a wood stove, I have the stainless steel pipe that, but it runs through, I put it up through an old chimney.
I don't have an old chimney.
I know,
And they didn't
yeah.
create any of our houses in that neighborhood with chimneys.
no.
So the bulk of that would fall on us to put up a chimney.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't have to put up a chimney. That's why, my point was.
Well, even the wall's
Yeah,
gonna cost.
it would be a walled-in, just shingled over even. It
And how
doesn't,
much
it
would
could
that-
be, I don't know, I'm not a
$1,000?
contractor, yeah,
Yeah, I see that. It's another expense.
I know. Well, I'm of humble
Just
means
because
myself.
someone
I'm a
doesn't
working
like it and
stiff.
they're not even gonna look at it, doesn't make sense. I don't know how it accomplishes what the spirit of the Old Kings Highway Committee is founded on. I would assume is to make the Old Kings Highway look like,
It's
like it
everything,
did.
everything
The
north
entire
of-
district.
That's,
The entire
yes, but
the
is
entire
that
district.
not the spirit of the law?
They didn't have
To-
a budget.
There was nothing where we were back then.
Well, the thing is that years ago, they used bricks. They had brick chimneys. Some houses had 3 brick chimneys.
Brick.
And so what we allow in place of that now is a wood chimney chase that contains the pipes. So they're out of sight. And some people go as far as put these thin bricks on the outside. So it looks like ends up looking like a brick chimney.
But it's essentially built of wood, and it
Right.
goes
Yeah.
over.
It's just
Right.
framed up against the side of the house,
Would,
but
would it be possible for us to consider the chimney and, as it's presented, with the condition that they'll come back with some sort of fix
Yeah,
for the surround?
What
So
might
that you can
be,
get the fireplace or the stove during the wintertime.
right, yeah, possibly
And
like
spread
putting
out
up
whatever cost might be
arborvitae or
incurred
something.
for the
a
chimney.
fast-growing kind of arborvitae. Putting up
Well,
A screen of some
everything
sort.
that's being suggested, we're trying to help you out, but every help that we offer is going to be more money out of your
Yeah, it's
pockets.
kinda- I'm afraid.
So you have to decide whether you can accept that or not.
Well,
we'd have to see it. We can't approve something that we haven't seen.
Well, I've been out there, so I.
I know what
it
you're
looks
talking
like.
about, yeah.
But,
I don't want to say
you know,
no to
the
this.
placement of
I don't think we.
a fast-growing arborvitae kind of thing. It
Yep.
stays relatively narrow and concentrated
That'd work.
and is blocking the view from the road. That would help.
There's two people that will see this, and they both sign their names saying they don't care.
I think you, the sense that I'm getting is we're trying to help you here. So you got to give us something. We want something to
Yeah, we-
camouflage that pipe. It's as simple as that. And if you can't
It-
come to grips with that,
An
then
arborvitae would work well.
Yeah.
And you
sorry?
could, an arborvitae would work well. It grows up tall and straight quickly.
Yeah,
And so if we could consider
oh,
Plant a
allowing.
Like placing a
allowing
tree?
this. Yeah, placing a tree, a pine tree.
it's evergreen.
well, I think you're going to need more than one.
Yeah,
but,
well, it's one of those Leyland cypress.
Leyland, yeah,
Yeah.
those grow really fast.
But they would take over the house.
So
And
that way
trim
you
one
would
side
get
of
the
it.
chimney and the stove
Yes.
as you've
You have to
presented.
be trimming
It's still, that's screening.
But I think the way that we should,
These,
that
it, so-called green giant
I would be more comfortable if
concentrated.
we were to table the application until we see a landscape plan, if you're amenable to that suggestion.
please don't do this. We are talking about 6 feet of metal that are,
Know exactly what you're talking
Yeah, but-
about.
okay, you know exactly, so you know.
It's gonna be
Please
more
don't
than
do
6
this
feet.
to us, please.
Well, I don't think we.
What
wait.
is the problem?
Well,
Come on, what about civil rights? It's my own home.
one problem is. the
You must
six-
hear this all the time, right?
Yeah.
You say you're for us, but I look over and I don't see very friendly faces. Maybe this woman over here looks a little sympathetic.
The problem is that
Not
the 6
really.
feet grows,
Not really.
because you need to be 3 feet away from any roofing material. So if you just go up and you stop a little bit above where the roof is, that doesn't help you. You have to be at least 3 feet up and to the side, and you have a steep 45-degree angle roof on the front and the back. The back has a dormer, and so you have to go up beyond the ridge
I understand, the pipe has to go
Right.
up to a certain level.
so that it doesn't give off hot gases and burn your roof down. So you're looking at least 3 feet from that point, and it's probably about 10 feet down to where you're starting. So you may end up with 13 feet roughly
Yeah.
of pipe there, not 6.
Okay.
And
Right.
if it's shiny pipe, or I don't know if you can paint it black. Oftentimes. they
If it
put
were black,
Black pipe.
would
flat-
that, if it were
flat
black, would that be
like
okay?
anodized, and that would help disappear. But certainly
I'm sorry,
well-placed.
I didn't get your answer. If we were somehow able to make the pipe black, would that make it?
Some people put up shiny stainless steel pipes, and they stay that way a long
That's what this
time.
is.
You know,
That's what this is.
this is it's
It can
stainless
be,
steel.
it can be painted.
Right.
Okay,
Still
so,
round
Yeah,
metal pipe.
yeah, they have special pipe paint,
right,
which will take high temperatures. and
right.
won't flake off.
So would the committee be willing to approve it if we had it painted black?
I don't know, I think it'd be much more
I'd-
amenable.
You could see it more, but
Sorry.
I would be happier with seeing it screened out.
Black?
seeing it what?
Screened out plantings.
Plantings.
Put a,
Oh, plantings.
an appropriate screening, evergreen, you know, in the right place, and
Okay.
Yeah, I,
tend to disappear in the background.
So they're,
But how do we follow up on that?
well, yeah, we need a landscape plan, I think. It's a simple thing. You come back, when's the next meeting?
And
28th, January 28th.
2 weeks. We're talking about 2
And
weeks.
is that something that has to be, the meeting has to be paid for as well?
No,
No? Okay,
no, we would just continue it. It's no-
Okay.
So what is a landscape plan going to be to you? I mean, I'm looking over here at this lady's landscape plan, and we don't have the ability to do
No,
anything like that.
okay.
Well,
What
she's
do
she's
we
working
need?
with professionals in the business.
Do we have a Google Earth
We need, well,
photograph? of
I
this?
think the whole purpose in this situation, and correct me if I'm wrong, is to get it in writing from the applicant.
Right.
So that there's something to fall back on should someone notice that the planting isn't there. There has to be some kind of
We
follow-up.
can do that in terms of an addendum right now.
So,
yeah, because what if we could,
yeah, you have to
Write
make it
the-
really
write
clear,
the
because we've had
addendum.
issues
We'll write up
before.
an
And draw
addendum.
Let's do, you mean an addendum that's a landscape plan?
Yeah,
Okay, so let's make a landscape plan.
yeah,
Can we do that?
yep.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking for a Google Earth picture.
I have no service.
Printed.
I have
Can
no
you,
service.
can you print something? Steph?
No, I can't, right now,
No.
I can't get on, but you should have
You
pictures
can use
there.
that.
Okay.
I think that with this, if we
Okay.
indicate
But you're not
here.
supposed to be figuring it out. The applicant is supposed to be
okay,
figuring
we'll give it to
out.
them and
How
draw
about
in
if you
where a
guys-
tree goes to cover to screen it.
Go draw a couple pictures and come back after the next applicant,
Or just, you can give
and we'll table it.
can't we
till the
just,
end of
can't we somehow, I mean, do you really need a picture? Can we just, all
we're trying
being
to work with
intelligent
you.
adults,
You gotta give us
imagine that
something.
there's
the- Yeah, we have
This
to
has to
do
be
it.
tree there?
This is easy, this is easy.
We're really,
Take
I
these.
think we're accommodating you
You think
more
that you're
than we might
accommodating me?
ordinarily,
Yeah.
so.
By a mile,
Let it go, let it go.
okay?
Yeah.
You could deny it and they could appeal it, but then that's going to.
No, I don't wanna deny it.
You don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
But this is really simple.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not a big deal.
but this lady has quite a long presentation.
Okay, I'm fine.
It's funny, you know, come on, I mean,
There's
okay, I'm not
no-
going to say anything because I know you guys see this all the time.
You can continue, I would continue it.
So let me
and come
just
back.
clarify that you're just, Ann,
I know.
You should continue it, and then.
I think we should deny it, yeah.
I would continue it.
I don't think we need that attitude.
Ann, please,
Just continue it.
please,
Yeah,
please. So you're just saying if we have a tree planted,
I've heard enough.
I have too.
I've
Move
heard
to,
enough. I make a
move to
motion
table.
to deny.
All right, what, table?
yeah.
I'll move
think
to
you
table
need
the
a 2-week
application.
cooling off period.
We're tabling?
That's my
Yeah.
motion.
Table or deny.
All right,
Do I
who,
hear a motion to table?
I move to table the application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Where is this?
can you tell me what that means?
that means this whole discussion is continued until next January 28th at 7:15 PM after we hear the two items that are on that.
And what we'd like you to do, really, you have pictures already, but make a small plot plan which has your lot with the house and where you'll be putting the evergreen trees to block the view of this.
Just like your lot, and show
You
your
c-
house, and just show where the pipe is gonna be, and then indicate where and what type of tree is gonna be planted. and then bring that back, we'll write it in, accept it, and then,
Clarify one more thing, and then,
Sure.
so we could do a tree, we can stick the pipe up through the house, we can put the pipe up outside the house and surround it by a chimney of some sort,
A wooden fabricated,
or wood, those are
looks
our
like a
options.
chimney.
Right.
Just so I know, so any of those options, you're not going to fight us on?
Not one tree. Enough,
it's gonna-
enough to screen the pipe. So,
From the
It may
road.
take a couple.
yeah, two should do it.
If
If
it's
they're of
properly
sufficient
placed,
size,
yeah.
I mean, how,
A
should we give
6-foot,
them some guidance as to the height?
yeah, the
Probably
6-footers
put a
are around
6-footer.
$80.
Yeah,
2 6-foot arborvitaes.
would do it.
And if we do any of those, you're happy?
Yep.
I apologize for my loss of temper. This is all very new to me. I'm sorry about what I said before. I know I haven't walked in your shoes as well, so I apologize.
Accepted.
Yep, it's always hardest the first time.
Okay, so
You'll be fine.
call me as you move through the process if you need help on what you need. Okay?
Thank you.
That's the cleaners. That's the cleaners.
good. Okay.
Next.
I'm running out the door right now. I'm
Okay,
running.
let me call the next item.
Oh, am I allowed to stand up yet? Okay,
No.
I can sit, I can sit. I will sit out.
The next item is concerned with a new 3-bedroom, 2-story home with attached 2-car garage at 70 Old Hyannis Road. East Coast Real Estate Investments is the owner, Carlos Figuinos.
Carlos, yes, I'm helping him tonight because he had something he had to do. He asked me to
Okay.
come for him.
And your name for the record?
Jean Bowden, Jeanbowden, and he's a friend of a friend's, and I said I would help him out. And I'm familiar with this location because my very good friends used to own this little subdivision, and I think it's turning out quite nice. I haven't been down there for,
They're going up one at a time.
it's coming along. Some changes there in the subdivision. And then we have of course, you have the site plan. Shows the bushes. And the architect has tried to put all the information on the plans too, which is helpful.
Oh,
That's nice.
He's pretty good. He does a good, thorough job.
Mahogany deck.
So this tin foil is light gray.
Likes gray. He definitely likes gray.
It's not shiny.
No, no shining. I have the little colored chips that I gave you.
Graphic charcoal.
And I suppose if someone buys it and wants to do a little different color, they can come to the front door, they'd come back and get permission for the,
Yeah, doors.
This is framing plan. You don't need the rafter plan. Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Are all the roofs asphalt, including?
Yes. The back? They almost look like I believe so, yes. Because I know some people put the other material on there, which I think he's doing asphalt,
Yeah,
definitely.
copper would be nice.
The copper would, well, they could upgrade and come back and get permission. Especially with the shape, it'd be gorgeous.
What, you're talking about the crickets?
In the back. He's talking about the rear elevation could have,
Yeah.
copper would be.
That's true. It's just would be nice. Quite a neighborhood over there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be a Yarmouthport showplace when it's all fully
You pass
developed.
that
if it all
lovely
goes
pond
this
on the
way.
right. and-
No lighting? No lighting?
What's it? Oh, side lights.
But no
No,
lights
no, yeah.
on the garage either.
Those are landscape ones?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, okay.
Windows.
And, okay, this door.
Is this separate from the other ones?
Yeah, it says. Wait a minute. That's north. So this is south. No, wait a minute, it's backwards. I'm backwards. Can't figure out where this door is. that says right south elevation, so I'll be over here.
Right.
This is the rear. Rear is to the east.
It's quite secluded back there, I think.
Uh-huh.
It goes up, it'd be flat, wall, and then goes up.
Yeah, it's really a nice wooded area. And it backs up to this area that's, I don't think anything's happening there.
Any idea about lighting on the house?
Well, that's something I noticed that he has neglected to put on here. So we have to do something within the keeping of the area, which he's going to have, there's nothing out on the street, but he is going to have some fixtures at the front, like where the garage door is, right on, because of safety. And that's one thing I did mention to him. He was supposed to email me a little brochure, and I don't know if it came through yet. But he said anything that you wanted, he would do. Doesn't matter. I mean, whatever is, I know there's some houses right in there that just did that, and so we'll fit in. Should probably see if he sent something.
I'm not kidding.
Yes. I don't need to do that?
Is it something that you can email to me first thing in the morning? Sure. You can do that. I'm out in the afternoon. I'm leaving around 1. So if you can get that to me first thing in the morning, then before I clock it all in, we can make sure that it's attached, if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Because Jean we work a lot with Jean.
Where are we supposed to get me the lighting fixed?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's onion lamps or something like
Yeah,
that.
I think that's what he was, and he may have sent it to me already, because he said he was going to email it to me before the meeting, and I didn't quite see it, but I'll get that to you,
Good.
like an onion lamp or.
Yeah,
how many
it's a
will do.
nice house.
Mostly
It's
in
big, and
in the
it can
front.
handle decent lights.
The one is on this side of the room, and that side of the room. So going past the beach area on your left. Okay. Let's turn it around for you.
He may be able to drop something off too in the morning and have it there for when you come in.
Either one.
Okay.
So they're on lot 3.
Yes, that's number 70.
Is lot, the number 78 useful?
Pardon me?
Is that useful? It's got, what's it called? Remnant of abandoned telephone, telegraph.
Yeah, something next to it, there's some sort of a, to the house, you mean the lot to the right of it?
Yeah,
Because this is lot 70.
it's an easement right down the middle of it.
I don't really, I know they had to bring the electricity in there. Not quite sure. Almost looks like an ancient road there in the back. This is the newest subdivision plan. I know there was some issues with the butters because of that, but this is the one, the
But that's
current
the
one.
one that, yeah.
It had changed a little.
Assessors hasn't
Right.
been totally updated yet, but that's the one that we've used for,
I brought it
Of
when
other
I
new
did,
homes,
I
yes,
did
we
a lot,
brought
no,
one.
I brought it up to the assessing department. They didn't have it. And I said, no, this is it. They were using the original one with all these sort of pork chop lots. I think this is way better.
So the windows over the garage, can we just continue with the shutters?
Yeah, it doesn't have shutters on the garage, but
Can we put them on?
I think if they could fit there, the only thing, it looks kind of tight, but maybe,
I think they look like they'll
Is
fit.
is that clapboard on the front there?
you mean above the 2 garage doors?
Right, the 3 windows.
Well, I suppose there's shutters that would fit there.
Signing.
I don't know, what do you think? I mean, he said anything if you wanted to add something, he's fine with it, especially something like that. I think it's the architect probably
Does-
just thought they would be,
Does the front of the garage also have clapboard?
pardon me, yeah, yes, let's see.
Say it there.
I don't know, it said that.
Let me see what it says here. To look at the, okay.
Front of the house?
So,
or
well, it doesn't, I don't think it's specified, actually.
It says red cedar clapboards on front, white cedar shingles side. Obviously, it must have it.
So the garage has clapboards below.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I move to approve the application as submitted.
Do you like the idea of shutters on the
don't.
garage?
No.
I think they're too be tight in there.
Too busy?
I second.
Too tight.
oh, wait, did everyone hear that? Robert motioned and Rosemary seconded.
Approval. Did.
Yes, I did.
Okay. It's a long way down here, you know. Good.
So we haven't voted, actually.
No, we
I'm going to take a vote now.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So 5, 4, none against.
It's- I have to give her back her. I just accidentally dropped these, by the way.
It's a big pile.
I'm sorry.
There was a precedent.
That's right.
Now I'm getting nervous about dropping
No,
things.
you're good.
I've been to a lot of historical meetings, and I have seen some similar things, but they're more up toward the other end of Cape Cod, up by the tip thing.
Well, we don't get a lot of it, fortunately.
I really think that when someone is selling someone a product, they should support them in this meeting, like the person who, you know what I mean, who, any situation, whether it's the.
Jean, you just have to sign something up here.
Oh, sure, thank you.
Right. It's just a statement that you'll build it according to plan, and if there are any changes to be made, we see them in advance.
Writing
Yep.
information here.
Yep.
Right.
And this, where would I sign? Oh, right here.
We,
Okay, thank you.
I signed the bottom.
Did I put for Carlos? Or just my?
No, you signed
Okay.
your name.
He's a
good
very
enough.
nice man. He does volunteer work with poor people.
Uh-huh.
Very, yeah.
Translating and,
Carlos, the owner, travels and helps people in foreign countries.
oh,
Yes.
oh, okay. Good.
To give you back your file.
You can leave it all on that table, Jean, I'll take care of all of it. Just
All right,
make
I'll
sure you
take,
have all of
I
your-
have my own, right, so I can go give it back to him. This was sort of a, before Christmas, remember we
Mhm.
came in and did that.
I know where to find you if I'm missing
Oh,
anything.
yeah, I'll be here, I'll be here a lot. Oh, here's your clip.
It's okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good, okay, Gene. So, there are a couple of other things to address. One of them was this letter that we received today, wasn't it? Or Friday?
What's the date on it?
Friday.
Friday.
And from Michael and Linda Sullivan, who live at 93 Stratford Lane in Yarmouthport. And they,
Thank you very much. Good night.
You're welcome.
you're welcome. They're the owners of the house that was built just last spring, summer. And I did a occupancy inspection there. Must have been the middle of the summer. And it looked quite good, except for a couple of little details that were called out in the original spec sheet, which weren't done. And so I suggested that they be done. And therefore, and if they did, they will get their certificate of occupancy. Now, there was a house next door, which has been there quite a long time. The neighborhood is Short Street, dead end, off of Canterbury. And the houses are more or less one story, but they have steep roofs, like with dormers on the back, Cape style. And so they're not as low as, say, a ranch house with a lower pitch roof. And the house next door to this property is a two-story colonial, and it's been a two-story colonial for a long time. And this lot was empty, but it was covered with trees to begin with. So the letter, I'll read it. As recently discussed, my wife and I are deeply troubled by a new addition currently under construction at 87 Stratford Lane, Yarmouthport. The plans for that, I believe, were done a long time ago, less than a year, obviously, but it's only under construction now. And this house that they live in didn't exist at all at that time when we approved of the plans. We took occupancy of a new house on November 9th. The primary reason for our disappointment is the size and design of the construction project in question. The size is about 1,200 square feet, and the design is 2 floors high with 3 roof slopes and makes no attempt to blend in and take on the appearance of a one-family dwelling. Well, obviously, it started as a 2-family and would never look like a one-family no matter what you did. In fact, it looks like what it really is, a 2-family dwelling. Good. When we were days away from taking occupancy on our home, the Old Kings Highway chairman apparently inspected our property and listed several changes or requirements that we needed to comply with, including changing the outdoor lantern lights to onion-style lights, installing grills in dormer windows, and planting shrubs in front of a bulkhead. We understand your explanation of conforming to the submitted plan by our contractor. However, for Old Kings Highway to demand compliance with such seemingly small items, it is painful that the same scrutiny was not applied to the building of an addition that is of questionable design and absolutely does not fit in this neighborhood. We did not attend the Old Kings Highway meeting on June of 2018. We had not even obtained our building permit at that time and never thought an addition to our next-door neighbor's property would create a problem. But it has. We now have a two-story structure that looks more like a house looming over our backyard and completely obliterating our privacy. Please share this email with the entire Old Kings Highway staff. We thought, this is T missing, thought the purpose of Old Kings Highway Historic District was to maintain a certain level of character, both in design and overall appearance, for all new construction in the town of Yarmouth. Well, that's not quite true. That was not done in this case, and we are paying the price. The house that these people live in is very modest. It's the smallest house on the street. And the other houses had been there a while, and they have plenty of shrubbery growing, and they're nicely kept up. This house, they took all the trees down. There's no buffer anywhere on
Which
this
house?
lot. The owner who's complaining.
Whoever's
93.
complaining took down his screening.
All the screening is gone from this lot.
So what's the complaint? I mean, is there a specific complaint of,
The complaint, they have two complaints. One is that I required that they put up onion lights on their house as been specified in, and the other was to take down the
Well, they-
cheapo
are they
things that they
contesting that?
had.
No,
well,
no,
then-
this isn't, this is mainly, he just wants the committee to be aware of
That his
his
privacy is-
concerns about what the purpose of Old Kings Highway Committee is, as, with regards to construction and keeping with, you know, I did explain that he did receive, and he did acknowledge that they received their notice. They didn't come to the hearing. They understand that. And as he wrote in his letter, he didn't think it was going to be an issue. Now it is, and I think they're just upset that it's so big. They're just, they're venting to me, knowing that there's nothing that we can do about it. And he's not putting in a formal complaint. He
Okay.
just wanted me to pass this on to the rest of the group so that they're aware that next time you come around with something like this, he feels that you should take it under consideration. But everything's within building code. On the other home,
Setbacks,
the other home was on a corner lot. It wasn't on his street, really, like, part of, it was, it met setbacks. There were no abutters, no complaints, no opposition, rather.
No.
So,
And-
I mean, the
and-
committee, you did,
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, this lot, they've taken all the trees down. The people in back of them have an in-ground swimming pool. And so their privacy is kind of shot too, because of these people. So it's,
so that was just an.
you can read the letter, and, but the lights that they had on the house, you could buy for $5 at Home Depot, and they were really, they looked inexpensive, definitely. And we wanted them to put on the house lights that were approved.
That were approved, and I explained that as well, that there was no decisions or changes made on the Old Kings Highway chairman's part to the plans. We can't do that. You can't do that.
No.
You were out there to confirm that what was built according to plan, and that you noticed that there were, I think the grills weren't in a window yet or something, and then the onion lamps weren't onion lamps, there was something different. There's a reason why the spec sheets are filled out with specifics, so that we ensure that they are built as such, and I explained that.
Yeah. The way I read this is they're accusing us of being inconsistent.
Right,
We're picking at little nothing
and letting
things
big
and
things
ignoring
go
this
by.
monstrous addition that's horribly designed and ruins their privacy. And they have to look at this horrible
Yeah,
addition on
yeah.
the side of this house.
is it horrible?
It's not beautiful. So,
Okay.
The problem is that it's new construction, and when you look at a piece of plywood,
yeah.
it always looks big. You know, it's reflective, it's light-colored,
Yeah, that's a fair point. It'll
And-
get better.
and as you start putting shingles on the roof and cedar shingles on the sides, and they weather, it looks, a year from now, it'll look completely different. In 5 years, it'll be even more different. And when regular windows are put in, instead of having holes in plywood,
And it has 2 stories overlooking
and
the
there's
backyard.
texture and everything, you could look in their backyard anyway, because it was a 2-story colonial house with windows, the existing house. It didn't need an addition to look into the house.
Well, the houses on Stratford Lane aren't cookie-cutter houses. I mean,
No,
there's a
they're all
lot,
different, one
they're all
from
different.
another. Yeah.
So, the fact that it's 2-story and instead of typical Cape Cod really shouldn't enter into the discussion, I
No,
wouldn't think.
and when you go through, go in on Canterbury Lane, and then there are a lot of streets that go off of that, and there's a big variety of houses in there,
Yeah.
so.
So there's no action required, this was just informational,
Mhm.
doing, passing along.
A lot of time went into that design too, in terms of making sure that the roof on the addition was lower than the roof on the house, and other aspects of it.
Actually, just as an added side note, I do recall that there was a meeting where you did continue an application because the garage was higher than the house and it was
Oh, yeah.
looming over,
Right.
and you did
Several
have it reduced. So you do take care in.
Yeah, as a
in-
matter of fact, when I first read this letter, I thought that's what we were talking about. I thought we were talking about that property. Until I went over and looked at it, oh, no, this
Yeah,
is not that
But
property.
this one too, we always address that. We don't want the new construction to overpower the old construction. It should blend in. And eventually this will, after it's weathered. So,
Okay, next.
good. All right, now, we need to designate or vote for or whatever, the chairman and vice chairman for 2019.
I should inform you first that the Board of Selectmen did approve the reappointments of Richard and Dawn Marie for another year. So now we can do.
What were they thinking?
I know. You want to be, are you volunteering for chairman? Because you have
I'm
to
never
designate a chairman
volunteering
for
for
this
anything
year.
again.
Okay, so you do have to designate chairman and vice chair, so you need to nominate.
I would nominate the current to continue.
Second.
You are both for that? Okay.
Am I opposed? Of course I'm opposed.
Are you okay with that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Excellent.
Richard, you're voting for yourself?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, 3 ayes,
Aye.
4 ayes,
Yes, 4 ayes.
and I'll vote for Bob.
All right, so you're motioning Bob?
Yeah.
Yep,
Do we have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The other 2 items are housekeeping for me. I have a couple of handouts for you guys to pick up before you leave. We have to update our conflict of interest and our open meeting law compliance certificates.
Right.
I know some of you have done them within the past year or 2, but I figured let's just start from scratch, and we'll have complete records now, and then every 2 years, I think we have to renew. So I do have packets with the memo on what you need to do on those. And then I have a handout, it's just a good reference tool that the it's titled Old Kings Highway Practice Procedures and Resources. If you've been to a workshop for Old Kings Highway, there was bullet points on what to look at when you review an application, and it was just, some outlines on, and checkpoints, which I have that for you, an updated one that the Old Kings Highway Commission dropped off.
Okay.
I have that. And I think
Did you have that one for the dentist?
there was a dentist decision, I forgot to put that on here. I do also have a copy of an appeal from Dennis on solar panels that also might just be informational for you to read and might give you some insight when you're looking at solar panels down the road.
That,
Different,
was that recent?
Yes, it was. About 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think it was the middle of November. When was it? Beginning
It
of
was
De-
denied,
Maybe
so.
beginning of December. It was, well, what happened is, the person wanted to put solar panels on 4 sections of roof, which all point pretty much in the same direction. And the dentist committee said they could put them on 2 sections. And the homeowner wanted to put them on more. They wanted more solar panels, so because they were cutting their power in half by putting them on 2. And so they appealed it, and through the appeal process, we agreed that the dentist committee had not been judgmental, or, they did a good job. And so we stuck with the dentist committee.
So what was their reason for denying the 2?
Denise, it's a question of visibility.
Okay.
They were on the back of the house, but the trouble is, the street wraps around, and you can see it from the next street
Okay.
very well, particularly after the leaves came off. It's again a question of visibility in the summer and in the winter, completely different ballgame. And so they decided that they were too visible and denied them. Well, as it turned out, after the meeting, Jim Wilson and I were standing there talking, and the homeowner came up and engaged us in conversation, and I guess we gave him some encouragement to go back and look at his plan again, and he's done so. And so he's going back to the dentist committee to bounce a new plan off of them. So he hasn't appealed beyond the regional layer. He hasn't gone to court. And chances are the dentist committee will look at the new plan and approve it. So we'll see. But,
So the denial was upheld.
yeah, denial
And
was
then
upheld.
after the meeting, you encouraged him to reapply.
Well, we didn't
Is
go out and
is
say
that
it
what
to
I'm getting
him.
here?
We didn't go out and say, you should try it again and everything. But in talking to him, he just got the idea, so
Oh, okay.
that's what he's done. He went back to the dealer, had him remeasure it, and come up with a new plan.
Different plan.
Yeah. So we'll see how that progresses. All right. That's about it. Anything from the floor here?
What's the email from an abutter?
that's,
We
the
just
one
covered
I
that.
read. That's this one.
That was it?
Yeah.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.